There are two types of randomized experiments, or two common types of randomized experiments. The first one is what we would call a randomized comparative experiment, or often we just refer to this as a randomized experiment without any additional description. This is where we start with our subjects, and from the whole group of subjects, we randomly assign them to groups. So group 1, group 2, if we have two different treatment groups, we assign the treatment to all of group 1. We assign another treatment or maybe our control to all of group 2, and at the end we compare the outcomes. In a matched pairs experiment, we have this natural pairing between individuals who get one treatment and individuals who get another treatment, so that the randomization happens within each pair instead of in the whole group. So maybe within pair 1 we would get treatment 1 and treatment 2, and within pair 2 we would do the same thing. We don't have room here, so we'll go all the way down to pair 3 to illustrate with a dot 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 here to indicate that that would be the same thing. And then we get this same treatment 1 and treatment 2 within each pair. So the randomization is what's done differently. And then we would just come right back in and gather up all of our outcomes, compare these outcomes. So we would get our compare outcomes here, and we would compare outcomes within each pair and bring all of these together into a single data set. So matched pairs experiments are common if we're using the same individual as a pair, where maybe the same person gets both treatments but not at the same time. Identical twins are fairly common examples of something we would do a matched pairs experiment on. Researchers just love getting a hold of identical twins because we've eliminated so many genetic variables. Sometimes even married couples, if what is being measured is relevant to their home life or their relationship with each other. Anything that creates a natural pairing. So in this example, we're going to look at, do babies prefer speech to music? In this example, the natural pairing is really of the same individual type. 50 infants were exposed to happy sounding speech and a hummed lullaby by the same woman. This is suggesting that each of the 50 infants got both of these treatments, so that what we have is infant 1 gets speech and lullaby, and then we're going to compare the response variable in this case is the amount of time that the infant looked at the woman, right? So we'll just call that time here. And for infant 2, we would have the exact same thing. The way that you would randomize an experiment of this nature, because we can see that each infant is getting the same 2 treatments, the way we would do the randomization is that we would randomize the order, right? Randomize the order, that's how we get a randomized experiment so that we can conclude causation. If we don't randomize the order on something like this, then we don't really know that we're testing the attentiveness of the baby to each of these 2, as opposed to whether they seem more attentive in the beginning or whether they seem more attentive in the second interaction, right? So randomizing the order so that maybe we would have the lullaby versus speech go in the other order here, right? If I move these around, flip a coin maybe for each baby and say, okay, this baby might get them in the other order. Randomizing the order is usually the way we do this within the same individual, but for married couples and identical twins, we wouldn't randomize the order. We would actually randomize which person in each of these pairs gets which treatment.